Hi there, friends. So, I wanted to make a video today talking about why I started making YouTube videos. And it was a while ago when I first started. I was like probably 13 or 14. So, I feel like it's necessary to go back to a little bit about myself and kind of where I come from and everything. So, I'll start out where I was born, right? So I was born in Dominican Republic, which is this little island in the Caribbean. It shares, well, the island is called La Española, and Dominican Republic is a country that shares an island with Haiti. So I don't know if you're familiar, but it's close to Puerto Rico and Cuba, right? Cuba, I think, is the closest to the United States. But yes, I was born there, and Spanish is my first language, right? So I learned a little bit of English. In school, I went to a private school over there called ABC's. First, I went to another school, it's called St. Thomas. Then I went to ABC's. Then I moved to the United States when I was 10. But before that, I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. My parents built a house there in Dominican Republic, and if you hear background music, it's because, or not music, I don't know why I said that. Um, Background noises is because there's people here in the house, and it's just a bunch of kids probably running around and stuff. But anyway, so my parents built a house over there in the Dominican Republic, and then they got separated when I was about 5, and then my mom found somebody else, and so it was my stepdad and my mom, and we moved to the United States when I was like 10. And then uh, after that, I went to elementary school, and that was like a little bit of a culture shock because I did learn a little bit of English, but it was completely different cultures from one place to another. And I mean, the United States, I moved to Florida. Florida is a huge, not, I mean, it's bigger than the island was, just Florida, but then the country itself, the United States, is just, I mean, unimaginable for me, the scale going from a little island to a big country like this. So, yeah, after I moved here, took a little bit of adjustments. So that's what kind of leads me into making YouTube videos because I did feel like a little bit of an outcast growing up. And so I naturally gravitated to my own family, which was my cousins. And my cousins and I, we used to play video games online. We used to play these games like Dragon Quest, uh, or Dragon Fable, it was, and Adventure Quest World was like the first online one, I think, that we played that was really cool. It was on a browser, other than like, RuneScape and, the classics and stuff. We played like Habbo Hotel. We played a bunch of games, and it was cool connecting with people all over the world just through the internet. The internet is pretty cool. And so I gravitated towards video games. In school, I wasn't really like very social because when I was in Dominican Republic, my social life was flourishing, and I had a lot of friends, close friends, that I grew up with since we were little kids. I went to 2 different private schools, but even then, I was still little, like pretty small whenever I moved to the other private school called ABC's. And so I made some really close friends. And then when I moved to Nelson Elementary, was 5th grade when I moved here. So I was 10 years old in 5th grade, and everything was a little disorienting. I had a lot of anxiety because I didn't know how things were going to work out for me. I didn't know how I should, I was just afraid, right? Which, it is what it is. And yeah, so I just felt more comfortable going online. And I remember the first time that I used a microphone on Ventrilo was because we had IRC, which was like internet relay chat to communicate with people. offline the games, right? So outside of the games, we would be playing Dragon Fable. We would be playing Mech. I forgot what the Mech one was called, but anyway, Adventure Quest World, that was online, and we got into the closed beta. That was really cool because nobody else. I felt like super exclusive, and which was fun. But then, when you would go play other games, like when Minecraft came out, I think I was like 14, and that's when I started making videos. I used to play other games like Last Chaos and Fly FF. So Fly for Fun was the game. Moo Online, all these different RPG games, right? So you get to like control a little character. I used to play Fly FF in Dominican Republic, so that's probably like one of my Fly for Fun. That was like one of my first um, video games that I played. Like that was like an MMORPG type of thing. And then I think Last Chaos was another one. And the reason why I played them was because my cousins played them. So we didn't live very far from each other, but we did live far from each other in Dominican Republic. So we just kind of got used to playing these games so that we could not have to go to each other's houses, and like we could just, after coming home from school, we could just hang out with each other, which was really fun. But then once you were done playing the game, if you wanted to do something else with people online, or you wanted to interact with people in a different way that wasn't just through a chat, or even if you did want to have a chat that was outside of the video game, like I remember when I first started using internet relay chat, I was playing Combat Arms. And I'll admit, I was hacking the game, right? So I found this forum, and I think it was made by Nexon. And I don't do that stuff anymore, obviously. I learned my lesson because the people that I encountered through the internet relay chat, I mean, I'm not like sad about it. I actually met some really cool people. I'm not friends with any of them, unfortunately, to this day, but they were really nice people to me anyway. And we just started communicating on internet relay chat because we couldn't really talk about it in the game, that we were like hacking the game in Combat Arms. So I think that's why anyway. I'm not sure, but then it was really a community that I found that was really cool, because then we started getting into making signatures for the forums, and we had like these signatures are like these like banners. I don't know exactly how many pixels it is, but it's like at the end of every post that you make on a forum, it just shows up at the bottom. And so we would use like these anime. It was just a way of expressing ourselves, right? I would like go on Photoshop and edit these like anime characters and make them look cool with my name on it and everything, or at least my handle. And then, it was just a cool way to express ourselves. I actually went to school. I was in middle school at this time. I was like 6th or 7th grade now. So I'm like 2 years into being here, the United States. So I'm still kind of getting comfortable, made some friends, and we lived close to each other there in the middle school. Because I lived pretty close to the middle school. It was Mulrennan Middle School. Then we went back. I went back home, and I was like showing them like, hey guys, look, I'm actually a moderator on this forum. And I was like, I felt so cool. And they were like, what? Is this really all you do? You just sit here deleting spam? Like, is this really all you do when you come home from school? Why don't you go play basketball or something? I was like, no, this is fun, guys. Like, these are my friends. And so those guys didn't really, we didn't really hang out with each other after that. But I kept playing video games. And then Minecraft came out. And that was like a blast, right? Talk about expressing yourself and in a creative way. And I remember I made like this fairy tale guild house playing Minecraft. I stayed up till like 3 or 4 in the morning. I had no business doing that because I had to go to school the next day. And yeah, it was cool. I started building cities. I built like this. I built Babylon. I built Avalon, right? If you look up through history, I was like a geek, right? So I would read so many books, and I would just like imagine myself being in these spaces. So I just went to Minecraft and started building the spaces that I was reading about, like magic and all this really cool stuff. And so, yeah, I started making videos for that community that I was building things for in Minecraft, and it was called Future Popcan, which the reason why I found out about Future Popcan was because of the old forum that I used to be on. Everybody stopped playing Combat Arms. All started playing Minecraft, and that was it was just the best, you know. And I started making videos to help people figure out how to get on the internet relay chat, how to work their ventrilo, because I would chat with people on Minecraft, and they would be like, "Oh, really? You can talk to people on the internet? I had no idea." You know, oh, how do you get on the server? One time the server went down, and because Minecraft was updated, but the server itself was not updated yet, so I made a video called "How to Get on a Minecraft Outdated Server." And that video, that was like my third or fourth video ever that I ever made, and that video blew up, right? So I mean, to me as a little kid, 14 years old, I got like 30,000 views on that video. You know, I lost my mind, right? Because personally, I was not in a place to even conceptualize that many people. You know, and I had my own issues, right? I had my own baggage that I was carrying from coming from a third world country. And so yeah, you know, I had a lot of fun playing video games, but I didn't want to be like these people. Like, I didn't want to be looked up to by everybody else, because I wasn't feeling like I myself was good enough. Even I felt like I myself was not good enough. That's the reason why, truthfully, why I I stopped making videos. And ever since then, I always had this dream of like making YouTube videos. And not only that, but when I left middle school and went to high school, I went to an IB program high school. It's International Baccalaureate, which is this program which is very intensive. It's like it's more advanced than advanced program or AP classes. It was like this putting kids through college while they're in high school, basically like that, you know, where you have to be in charge of your own. Like it was just intense. Is the best way that I can explain it, and it was very stressful, right? So I just wanted friends, and I wasn't really clicking with the people at school. I was more clicking with the people that I would come home and spend all my time with online, and yeah, so I didn't actually end up finishing the IB program. I ended up dropping out and then moving to another high school. And that was the high school that I was kind of supposed to go to, where all my other friends from middle school were at, quote unquote friends, even though I didn't really feel like I was friends with them, you know, just because I was really able to express myself mostly online. And so I started looking up to people online more than anything. And the people that I would watch here on YouTube were like Elliot Hulse. I remember when I was a sophomore in high school, I was trying to make it through the IB program, and I would come home, and instead of working on my classes, I would just play League of Legends and then watch Elliot Hulse. I would watch Northern Lion, right? The Binding of Isaac. I would watch uh, Beast Mode Jones, because I remember I wanted to get into the gym. I wanted to, so he was doing gym vlogs and stuff, so I would kind of look up to him. And I mean, later on, there was like Gary Vaynerchuk and all these other people that I would kind of look up to, right? And just because at home, I would come home and I wasn't really like, you know, nobody was making food for me. Um, you know, I would just basically be on my own. I would just get up at like 5:30, whatever it was, and in the morning, and then I would be having to go to high school, and I would be having to do well in school, and then I would come home, and then I would just be on my own. I mean, I would be on my own at school trying to learn and everything. I wasn't really clicking with the people there, but then I would come home and, you know, basically have this virtual experience with everybody online, where I would be watching these guys that I would look up to, that I would want to model my life after, uh, as like role models type of things. And, you know, ultimately, I found that nobody's perfect. You know, a lot of these guys that I would look up to, I found that, you know, they had their own flaws. And I was kind of idealistic in the way that I wanted to be. Maybe because I played so many video games. I would want to be, you know, like a video game character almost, even though in real life it's not like that. You know, you can't really be perfect, quote unquote. And so, and ultimately, I stopped watching all those guys, and I just started going, following the beat of my own drum, right? So, yeah. So, fast forward, I got to college, and in college, I was trying to make friends and everything, and I made a few really close friends that I was people that were really that I felt like were like me, or that I could connect at a deeper level. And yeah, and then I ended up, forgetting about YouTube. I ended up going to like Texas for work and doing all these college summer jobs, and just looking to support myself. And then I met my wife, and then we had kids, and so that's like the best, really. The main reason is because I felt like I could really finally step into who I felt like I was inside of myself, which was just being myself, right? So fast forward to today, we have two kids, and I mean it hasn't been easy, but it has been a slightly longer period of time where most people are used to things happening in like a month or 2 months or 3 months. But finally, I've come back to like, being, instead of doing things that other people want me to do, or like working for people and being the person that they want you to be, I somehow, thank God, I was able to remember my dreams, right? So if you go back to my gateway experience, I would talk about how I didn't remember my dreams, how I didn't know, uh, I would try to meditate for like 30 minutes and then I would fall asleep. But then I didn't remember what I dreamt about at night or anything else. So, uh, yeah. Then, thanks to the gateway experience, I was able to, really look within and finally realize who I am and why I am the way I am, and remember all the stuff that I just shared with you. And it's pretty cool. I like it. I'm glad that I've gotten to the point where I am now, where we're doing well, financially and everything else. We're doing fine, really. I mean, not well, not like as good as I would like to be, but we're doing fine. And I'm not too stressed out. I'm not trying to like run through walls or anything. So, uh, yeah, that's the reason why I started making videos, is because there's this whole thing with computers is like nothing in, nothing out, or garbage in, garbage out. With human beings the way we are by nature, um, we're not computers, but we're very much like that in a way, where we are programmable. Obviously, we have a conscience, we have much more degree, much more sophistication to it. With AI and everything, for it to become like the way that we are, I mean, it would be pretty tough for them to be able to feel, even though they don't have flesh and blood. It'd be pretty tough. If you watch my video called "Anime Powers and Hidden Applications," then you know that we are more than our physical bodies. If you are into the gateway experience and everything else, then you know that, right? So even though we are that way, we are more than our physical bodies, we do have a physical body, and that's part of us, and part of us is programmable, right? So growing up, I always had a sail, right? So I was always, if I'm on a ship and I know kind of where I'm going, I would always pick and choose where I would want to go. I always had that desire of where I wanted to. I had a vision of where I wanted to be. So I would go on YouTube and I would go online to look for that, maybe as for somebody to show me how to get there. And ultimately, I never found it, right? So that's why I started making videos, is because I figured, hey, there's probably somebody else out there that's looking for the same thing that I'm looking for, and maybe they won't find it, so maybe I can just show them, you know. So I think that's pretty much the reason why I started making videos in the first place. Maybe not so much, but that's the reason why I'm making them now, right? Why I came back to it, and why I don't think I'll ever stop. I mean, I'll do everything in my power to continue to make videos and make better videos, and as much as I can. And yeah, uh, I think that's pretty much it. In the beginning, I started because I wanted to express myself. I wanted to connect with people that I felt like were into the same things that I was into. And now I'm in a different position where I mean, actually, I'm still doing the same thing. That's the reason why I'm making videos still, is to connect with you guys. Um, if you're into the gateway experience and you're into the same things that I'm into, maybe you have a similar story or something like that, then I'd love to hear it. So, um, yeah, uh, why don't you make some videos, right? I think I'll leave it at that. Peace.